concept of entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship. My over 1 decade of work in risk management and finance, insurance, as well as over 2 decades of work in the energy sector, they've presented to me opportunities arising from the growing population and the needs of a struggling continent. The continental GDP per capita remains significantly below the global average, creating opportunities for wealth generation. Our airports are bustling. Exit queues are filled with fellow Africans leaving for greener pastures. However, the reverse is the fact that we have other nationalities and continents flooding into Africa. We need to ponder over why such a drift is happening. What are these guys seeing that we're not seeing? Africa has never lacked ideas. Creativity, innovation, and ambition are abundant across the rest of Africa. We have 1.5 billion human beings here. And by the way, Zachary, that was a very good map you showed in terms of what Africa represents to the world in terms of size, in terms of population. Embedded in that diagram was China, United States of America, Germany, the rest of Europe, all embedded within Africa. Before I go further, I ask a question. How can idea move a nation? How can an idea move a continent? What do they have out there that we don't have? Are there resources they have, knowledge or skill that they have out there in Asia, in the US, and wherever that we don't have? We need to ponder again and again as this conversation goes forward. Because eventually, all ideas will become real systems, real businesses, and equally create real impact. Before a deep dive into the subject, let me share a story that should help us set our minds in the right direction. The title of the story is The Road Through Dust Valley. A dusty old path stretched for miles across a dry, unforgiving landscape. Nobody enjoyed traveling it. It was hot, cracked, and littered with stones. However, it was also the only route to the city of gold, where opportunity and success awaited. One morning, 5 travelers embarked on this journey. The first traveler walked for 10 minutes, glanced at the heat waves rising from the ground, and turned back. Nothing good can come from this place, he said. If it were worth it, the road would definitely be better. The second one grumbled with each step. This dust on my shoes are not pleasant. The sun is rather too hot. The stones are sharp, and I cannot believe that no one has ever fixed this. He carried on with bitterness and left the journey. The third person kept stopping to post complaints about the road. This path is terrible, he wrote. No signal, he commented. No shade, he exclaimed. Avoid it at all costs. He spent more time expressing frustrations than making progress. The fourth person walked in silence. He didn't like the path, but he kept moving, counting his steps and pressing on. He had made up his mind. Discomfort wouldn't be the reason I will stop. But the most important thing for me is just to get to that city. That's all. Once I get there, I turn back, my job is done. But the fifth traveler was different. She noticed something the others didn't. While the road was dry, wild herbs grew along the sides. Rare herbs, I repeat, rare herbs used for medicine, she saw. She picked them as she walked. She noticed a rock formation that could be used for as stepping stones, and equally marked those stones. In the distance, she spotted a well half covered in sand, which she cleared to have a drink. By the time she reached the city of gold, she wasn't empty-handed. She had herbs to sell, a map of resources, and the beginning of a business plan that was born. Let's clap for the women. Of the five, it's only the woman that saw what the men couldn't see. What's the lesson here? Life gives us, all of us, a road to walk. Some see dust, others see diamonds. It is never about the path. It is about the eyes which can see what few people can see. I ask you this morning, what can you see in your environment? I'll come back to that story. Entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship, these two words, they're not just buzzwords. They are survival tools and the keys to unlocking the next level of wealth creation as well as national development. There is a link between the two. Entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship are not opposing paths. They are complementary. Some of the most successful entrepreneurs began their careers as intrapreneurs. Kola Adeshina, I started my journey as an intrapreneur in the insurance business before transitioning into the energy space. In both industries, I have become a captain in the two respective industries, all within a space of 37 years. In my company, we have several intrapreneurs, and they are gradually, on a daily basis, nurturing their skills, their talent, and their capacity to think to become entrepreneurs. You intrapreneurs in the room, when do you want to become an entrepreneur? You mark that stone. Several entrepreneurs bring entrepreneurial flair to institutions, making them become more agile, innovative, and customer-oriented. I recently read about the fact that in America, 70% of millionaires in this great country are employees or entrepreneurs. While their economy allows them to do this, growing exponentially, what are we doing about our own economy to create more entrepreneurs to become entrepreneurs? It is important to note that entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship require the same core skills. Critical thinking. Why? Because you just have to read and study every day. If you don't nurture your power of observation to note what is going on around you and read those things as opportunities rather than complaints, you will remain where you are. There has been no human being born of a woman that has grown phenomenally by staying in the realm of complaint and expecting that prosperity will come knocking. No. Everybody that has become successful sustainably, they did something in the environment others are complaining about. Everything in Africa, and I mean everything in Africa represent opportunities. The question is, what eyes are you using to see them?